Everybody practiced it.
Good stuff.
Did the whole thing, yeah.
Well, since both of them, if they both practice, right now, if everything goes well, they'll be available tomorrow. I guess getting them back against Giannis would be ideal.
It would be ideal, but I wouldn't say that. I would say they're both questionable. I mean, you know how those injuries go. Now it's the first day back, so how they feel now is not nearly as important as how they're going to feel tomorrow, you know, coming off their first contact. And they both look very rusty playing, too.
But they did full contact today.
They did everything, yeah, they did. So we'll see how the morning goes and then see where we go.
You guys have obviously done well since Stanley's went out, but what have you guys missed without having him on the floor?
Well, I think we have missed his defense in particular and his rebounding a little bit, you know. That's probably been the biggest areas. But he was also playing really well offensively, under control. Today he had a rough day offensively. I mean, he hasn't played in a while, and he looked good.
Stan, since you guys started 10-3, you have improved numbers shooting pretty much across the board, 50%, three-point shooting. What's been the biggest key tonight?
I think our energy and our ball movement, you know, have been the things. And when we have not been good with those things, we've struggled offensively. So getting the ball moving, getting it side to side, that stuff's important for us.
And the Sunday is especially encouraging. Obviously, Miami's good, and
they were good defensively too. Yeah, we still struggled actually in the half court a lot of times, but we got out in transition and were able to play before the defense is set. And I think that's, you know, it's key all the time, but especially against really good defensive teams. You know, you've got to be able to get out and get the ball moving before the defense is locked in, which also means we got to be good defensively, or you don't get those opportunities. And we got better defensively as the game went on, particularly in the second half. And like I said the other night, I think they got a little bit tired, and so they missed some shots, and we were able to get out and take advantage.
In that regard, Bradley's numbers, point-wise and percentage-wise, are up over the last 5. He's really good in early offense, isn't he? Sort of recognizing.
Yeah, I think anybody, you know, is. I mean, if you get room, I mean, I think he and Tobias have both gotten more room in transition than anywhere else.
You mentioned Luke's defense. When you talked about Luke's defense the other night, you talked about some key defensive things. But he was guarding waiters and seemed to hold his own on the ball, too.
He did okay. I mean, Luke actually played a good, solid defensive game. That was the thing that made me the happiest. We needed his points too, but I was happy with his defense.
Stan, I wanted to ask you about your op-ed at Time Magazine, and how long did it take you to write that thing?
I got a lot of help. Okay, so you know, I consulted Dr. Dyson. I consulted my wife. The woman, Angela La Chica, is the one who set it up. She's, I believe, she works with Anquan Bolden. I don't know if she's his agent or what, but she's the one that has done a lot of work with that Players Coalition, and she's the one who came to me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing it. And so I actually wrote it on the plane coming back from LA, and then it's, you know, been edited and the whole thing. So whatever the plane ride, you know, I guess the first draft probably took me 3.5, 4 hours, you know, to write coming back from LA. Yeah.
So your thoughts on that, on what you did. I mean, you've been pretty outspoken, and you know, and you're still. I guess the whole thing. Everybody wants you to sit there and coach. We've gone over this before, but you still want to speak out on what you consider.
Well,
right
it actually came out good timing because, you know, it's going to be hard to say. I wrote that, and then we came back and won 5 in a row. So it's going to be hard to convince me that, you know, somehow that distracted me and hurt our team. So, you know, so the timing of it ends up being good. Yeah, I considered it. Again, all I was trying to do in that, I don't think I was overly critical of anybody. You know, I was just trying to show support for the players, and really I'm proud of guys who've spoken up. I mean, there's, I think, too many people now, especially young people, haven't gotten involved enough and haven't had enough to say. And, you know, for our players, they actually, players in all the sports, actually take a risk doing that stuff. And so even if you don't, I do agree with them on everything they say, but even if you don't, I think you should have respect that these guys are out there in a peaceful way, you know, talking about issues that are important to them, and with great personal sacrifice. And like I said in the thing, especially with those guys in that Players Coalition, I mean, they're basically giving up every off day to travel and try to promote specific legislation in places. So they were here October 24th, you know, working on juvenile justice laws. I mean, those guys, I'm just telling you, I know how much I relish an off day. And for them to be taking the time on off days to go and work on things, and it's not just, they're not just out there protesting and, you know, and leaving it at that. They're working to make things better. I think you have to have great respect for that. And so they just asked me if I was interested in doing that, in showing them some support, and I was absolutely happy and proud to be able to do it, because I think those guys are doing great work.
What's the reaction been to the article?
Oh, I don't know. It came out at 8 o'clock this morning.
But you
obviously,
didn't get tweets?
I'm not on Twitter.
I'm
so
sorry, texts.
I did. I got texts, but I got texts from people I know. So I'm sure there's some people out there. But again, in that one, I mean, other than the fact that some people just think no one should protest ever, I mean, I didn't really go after anybody. It wasn't that. I was just supporting their causes, but more than anything, their right to protest, and that I really do think that's what, you know, our country's all about and our values are all about. And I think they honor the people who fight for those freedoms by exercising those freedoms. And I meant what I said in that. It doesn't make sense to me. Our country was founded on protest. I mean, if it was just shut up and honor your country no matter what, we'd still be flying the Union Jack. I mean, you know, I mean, that's not what our founding fathers did. They didn't like what was going on, and they broke away and formed their own country. I mean, so I just really don't get the sentiment that if you have any criticism of your country, that you're not a patriot. Actually, if you don't have some criticisms of your country, you may not understand what patriotism is all about.
What is it about this league? Popovich, Steve Kerr, you're very outspoken. You seem to...
Look, I think that we are exposed to the experiences of others. We can contrast it to our own experiences, which are incredibly more privileged, and understand that there's a lot of issues with equality, and we see the great people we interact with, and we hear stories of how they've been denied opportunities and treated different ways, and I think you just feel obliged to speak out and to say some things, you know. And I think also our league is, I've said this before, I just think our league is different. I mean, I think our league is, and the leaders in our league and our owners, they're different. You know, I think that Tom has made it clear that to our players that he supports their right to speak out. He has supported my right to speak out. You know, I just think our league is different. I mean, I think our league has encouraged guys to speak their minds. So, and I tried purposely in this one, not that I would never do it, but in this one I tried not to really go after anybody. I didn't want it to be overly political. I wanted to support those guys. I think what they're doing is great, and I think it is patriotism. I think that's what it's all about.
By the mere fact